Hello, and welcome to the Yoga for Absolute Beginners video series from Rob Ciano Yoga. My name is Rob Ciano, and I created this series of videos for anyone who's interested in yoga but doesn't know where to start. In the last video, we covered Shavasana, or corpse pose, Balasana, or child's pose, Kumbhakasana, or plank pose, and Tadasana, or mountain pose. Be sure to check that video out if you haven't already. In this video, we'll be going over Marjaryasana and Bitilasana, which is the cat-cow motion, Chaturanga, and Utkatasana, or chair pose. Let's get started. So for Marjaryasana and Bitilasana, it's most commonly known as the cat-cow motion. So what you do is you come into a tabletop position. In a tabletop position, my shoulders are above my wrists, my hips are above my knees, and I'm making a nice flat back like a tabletop. Very self-explanatory. So, in this pose, on the exhale, you round the back, draw the navel to the spine, and really press into the hands. Again, pressing into the pointer and thumb, like we were in Kumbhakasana, plank pose, and really tuck the tailbone under. Feel your back stretching and curving up. And on the inhale, drop the chest, drop the navel, bring the head through the shoulders, lift the tailbone. So this is your cow posture, Bitilasana, and this is your cat posture, Marjaryasana. Some people say that this is the cow posture, this is the cat posture. It doesn't really matter. I just think that this looks more like a cat arching its back and this looks more like a cow just kind of being a cow, but it doesn't actually matter. The point is, this is a moving posture. This is often done at the beginning of class to start warming up the body, warming up the back. So in this posture, as I said, you exhale, draw the navel to the spine, round the back. On the inhale, drop the chest, bring the head forward, chin up. Inhale and exhale through the nose. So exhale, inhale, come forward. Excellent. Exhale, inhale, come forward. This is the cat-cow movement. Because this is a warm-up pose, you also have the option to do a couple of other movements in your body. I like to sometimes drop my hips to one side or the other to start to wake them up. Maybe do full circles with the body in one direction and then the other. It's up to you, whatever makes you feel good, whatever makes you feel like you're warming your body up, and listen to your body. Yoga is all about the mind-body connection. So if you're in a posture and it doesn't feel right to you, make an adjustment. If you're in a class, maybe ask a teacher. But really, yoga is about listening to the body, listening to what it's telling you, and working with the body. Oftentimes, the mind and the body are in two totally different places. Yoga is about bringing those two together. So that was Marjaryasana and Bitilasana, the cat-cow movement. Now, let's move on to Chaturanga. Chaturanga is not usually a held posture. Usually it's done in the middle of what's called a vinyasa, which is a series of poses linked together. Now I'll show you what Chaturanga looks like when you're just holding it, but then I'll also show you when Chaturanga usually happens in the middle of a yoga class. So for Chaturanga, start off in Kumbhakasana or plank posture. All right, so it's going to be set up basically the same. I'm pressing into my pointer and thumb fingers, and I'm making a nice straight line with my body. Now from here to move into Chaturanga, what you do is move forward on your toes, move forward, and bring your elbows to a 90-degree angle. This is the Chaturanga posture, okay? Now this is usually not held here. What usually happens is you do that in the middle of a vinyasa. Oftentimes at the end of a sequence, in a class or on your own, what you'll do is you'll come into a plank, move into Chaturanga, then come to an upward-facing dog or a cobra pose, and then back into a downward-facing dog. But for our purposes here, just learning the posture, I'm going to hold it for a moment, okay? Now my chest is broad here, my shoulders are broad here, and I'm just holding myself in this posture, feeling that energy in my arms, feeling that energy in my core, because the core is engaged. The core is engaged in most yoga postures, okay? And that is more or less Chaturanga. Now this is very intense for some people, so just like with plank pose, you can do Chaturanga on the knees as well. You get much of the same benefits of the posture, and it's basically the same. You just come forward, bring those arms to a 90-degree, and then you move into your next posture. So that's Chaturanga, and finally we're going to move into Utkatasana, or chair pose. So for Utkatasana chair pose, you're basically turning your body into the shape of a chair, hence the name. So what you do is you set up similar to Tadasana, except that your feet are together. Now, in this version of the posture, my big toes are touching, but my heels are slightly apart. That's okay. It's also okay to do the opposite. Sometimes people like to do chair pose with their feet slightly apart. Really, it's what's most comfortable in your body. If you're in a class and a teacher is telling you to do something specific, I would say give it a try. But really, yoga is about listening to your body, listening to what it's telling you, and listening to what feels right to you. Okay? So I'm going to do this posture with my big toes together, my heels slightly apart. I shift my weight back into my heels in this posture. So actually, I can lift my toes and I can wiggle them around a little bit, and that's perfectly acceptable in this posture. So what you do is you bend your knees, tuck the tailbone under, draw the navel toward the spine, and reach the arms up above the head. My shoulders are rolling down my back, and I'm feeling the muscular engagement in my thighs, in my shins, and I'm feeling it in my core, a little bit in my glutes, and really the arms are stretching nice and tall above me. Let me show you what that looks like from the side. So again, big toes are touching, weight sinks into the heels, bends the knees, and you should really be able to look down and see your toes in this posture. Roll the shoulders down the back and take the arms up to the sky. Okay? Now what I'm doing is a pretty standard version of the pose, but sometimes it's a little difficult to really sink the seat back quite so far. So what you can do if you're new to yoga, if you're just starting out and that pose is a little intense for you, you can just sink back only a little bit. Really the important thing in this posture is that you're putting the weight in the heels and feeling that engagement in the thighs. So maybe you feel that right here. This is still a chair pose. You don't need to be way the heck down here to be in chair pose. Chair pose, as long as the knees are bent and the weight's in the heels and the arms are up, you're in a chair pose, and that's a great place to start. Anywhere in yoga is a great place to start, okay? So once again, chair pose, seat sinks back, weights in the heels, and again, maybe this is your chair, maybe this is your chair, maybe this is your chair. Who knows? Either way, yoga is all about having fun. It's about playing with yourself. It's about playing with what your body is capable of. And it's really just a rewarding practice. And thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.